Hey, what's going on, guys? Fearmaky here. We're finally on to the final class, the Amazon. If you guys made it this far along into the season and this far into the content of my channel, I really appreciate it, man. I want to give you guys a massive shout out for all the support, all the comments, all the likes. It's been absolutely crazy what happened between November and up until now. I'm assuming this is probably now towards the end of December. I'm pre-recording this on November 20th, but I will be releasing this to you guys as the last class, and as it should be. It's the longest video that I've done, but you're going to appreciate all the content in this video. Watch it all. I've been watching analytics a little bit as well. You guys, you're quick to go to exactly the timeline and look at what you want for 3 minutes, and then you come right back, post it on the comments. Well, oh, I don't have this, or did you try this, or did you do that? I don't get the same damage. Well, watch the whole goddamn video, man. As Warrior would say, come on, man. You watch 30 seconds of the video and you expect to be an expert, and then you come back on asking questions. Come on, help me out so I can help you out. Please watch the video and understand what's going on. There's a lot of information in the video. A lot of information, and just skipping to the gear setup does not do it justice. I'm telling you, if it did, I would not be doing 20-minute videos for you guys, and I'm sure the entire community could say the same thing. All right, you're probably the same guy complaining that you're looking at guides, written guides, and you're not getting the same results because you're not reading all of the information. And on the other hand, there's not a lot of information on the written guides either to complete the entire meta builds. But anyways, since we did this introduction here, we just skipped the first 500 wormhole clear with the Amazon with the Olden Battle Spear. I'm sure you guys were watching, but this time around here we're going to do it with the leap. What's happening here, so you guys understand, Amazon is one of the strongest classes season 11 by far. It's one of the classes that has a infinite stacking damage ability called Envenom, and it has no limit. The longer the damage dot is on the target, the more damage it takes, the more multiplicative and higher the damage goes. And we're running with 56% poison damage from Envenom. So if you do 1 billion, the next hit in 4 seconds, a second later when it ticks, times 56%, you do the math. It just keeps going and going and going. From our tests, just so you understand, from 0 seconds to 1 minute and 30 seconds, your ticks will be reaching as high as 70 billion damage in 90 seconds flat. Just absorb that, okay? 70 billion damage in 90 seconds. It's an insane class. We're putting poisons on targets. We're casting Caustic Spearhead, so your abilities do more poison damage. We're also throwing poison knives. And with this clear here, we're doing leap. But the massive meta that I'm going to get into in the explanation later in the video that you need to understand is the Mercenary. And that's all I'm going to say, the melee Mercenary. I'm not going to spoil it here 3 minutes into the video and have you guys skip the entire video and not understand what's going on. So you need to watch the video, okay, to understand and be more in depth and more informed about the game. If you've watched all 16 classes up until now, then you know what it's about. You know exactly what's going on. You know how the videos are laid out. And if you're those guys that watch the entire video or watch the majority of it and absorb all the information I'm giving you, then you know that there's a lot of information in this video that's going to benefit you and give you an edge, not only on season 11, but also in season 12. And I encourage you guys to do that. If you want to learn more about the game, you want to be more professional about the game, you want to min-max, then watch more than just the gear setup. Okay? That's the minor details. The absolute minor details. Anyways, Amazon is a great class to play. She's extremely strong, and she will outlast any enemy on the battlefield. And you'll know what I mean once we get into it. Right now here I'm going to show you a damage test. The fact that the Amazon is a dot damage class as opposed to a DPS class is we came to the conclusion that in order to accurately figure out the damage of the Amazon, we needed to time the durations on the dummy by 3 times, meaning 30 seconds. And in 30 seconds, Amazon did 7.3 billion damage. Some of the other tests was up to 7.8, you know, with lucky crits, etc. But 7.3, and you divide that by 3, which is the 10-second segments, and that averages about 2.4 billion damage. And obviously, the longer it goes, that number just gets out of control. You can't even comprehend it. And that's at hero level 200 maxed out gear. I was able to clear Wormhole 1,000, 1,500, and 2,000 at hero level 200. There's not a class in the game that can do that right now. Period. Alright, let's dive in to the Venomous Huntress meta gear setup, guys. So on the action bar, we have Odin's Battle Maiden. This is nice to get around some free damage during the initial testing, like bare bone initial testing. This yielded the most damage. Obviously, over the course of 10 hours of testing and what we discovered, this is just a nice filler. You can always change this out for the leap, and like I showed you at the beginning of the video, you have 2 variants there. Completely up to you how you want to play it. And obviously, if you're going to go the leap route, you can adjust your talents if you want. I reached out to Wooksy to ask him if it is intended that if the Odin's Battle Maiden, along with Spandage, is not supposed to apply poison, because one of the passives on the Huntress tree indicates that all attacks and abilities should apply poison. So we're not sure if this is a bug that it is not, or if it is intended because it's on the lightning tree. Either way, it's still a nice filler to have, and choose whatever one you want to suit your playstyle. On the second ability, you want Poison Knives. This was one of the highest damaging abilities when we were testing bare bones at the beginning. I think it was 25 million alone. Throw multiple poison knives in an arc, damaging and poisoning your foes. This is really good, and it scales like crazy later on in Wormholes as well. Caustic Spearhead. Apply a poison to your weapon, increasing the chance to poison and increasing damage on already poisoned targets. So what this does is coats your weapon with poison, as you can see here, and then it applies that damage to the target. And it scales really well with the way the class works and the dots. The number 1 damage ability in the game right now for the entirety of Season 11 is Envenom. This ability here scales infinitely. Completely infinitely. There is no stopping this at all. Obviously, you're not going to get the damage, the DPS, the damage per second compared to the other classes. But damage over time, nothing will beat this class. But over the course of time, this will overpass it because it's multiplicative at 56% with each stack of the Envenom application, that eventually this would surpass the billions of damage that the marksman is doing in the course of 10 seconds. Anyways, moving on to the gear setup. For the gear, we chose, this was multiple variants I'll show you later that's really viable, but the most damage over time, we went with Pendant of Eternity. We stacked it with the Lem Rune for the poison damage, 22% CDR, 5 damage reduction, really nice. The +5 to all talents is massive. 162 elemental damage, 8800 flat elemental damage, along with the Eternity passive, which once your dot expires on a target or a target dies with it, it spreads to the next nearest target, pretty much continuing the chain infinitely. It also increases the duration of how long your debuffs is up on the target as well. So this complements any class that has dots on the target eternally, hence Eternity. Anyways, the helm, we went with the trusty Harlequin crest. An amazing helmet as usual. The +3 to all talents, You got 37% poison damage, 4400 flat poison damage, 14% CDR. Amazing. For the charm, Torch of Shadows, we filled it with Lem runes as well. All socket to Lem runes, the poison runes. +2 to all talents, 67% elemental damage, which does apply to poison, and 3600 flat elemental damage. So we're back in the game. We have our bow, which is important that it's this bow, and I'll explain it to you. It's 115% quality, 337 poison, so it was picking up Da runes in it for some reason instead of the Lem runes. So these are the Lem runes, the poison damage. So you fill it with Lem. Alright, but now you guys know what I go through, man. At least you experienced it there with me. So anyways, for the weapon, you go with the Poison Ivy. You got 54%, 54 speed, nice 6,000 strength, 5,900 stam, 352% poison damage once you put the correct runes in it. And then 19,674 flat poison damage, 81% attack speed, 21% CDR. Multi-shot is amazing. It's what makes this weapon incredibly powerful on top of its elemental damage as well. You do multiple shots at the same time. I think it's like 4. And the damage just skyrockets. You want to roll. You absolutely want to roll Arcane Fury. There's a reason why I left this last in the video. This is a well-known thing, I guess, between, you know, some of the hardcore players. And I don't mean hardcore mode. I'm talking like the dedicated meta builders, pushing leaderboard players. And I'll be releasing guides on abilities in the future as requested. But if you're able to get Arcane Fury on your weapon, which essentially would be a ranged weapon or any other weapon, this is by far the best ability to have on a weapon because it mimics the Ascendancy weapon AoE ability. So it's vital that you get this. If you don't get this, try to go for Critical Strike or Arcane Fury. It will help immensely with your trash clear. Also, we went with the Devil's Cocoon. 28% poison damage. We do have Lem runes in there as well. 63%, 100 flat poison damage. 7,000 to all stats. But mainly, +3 to all talents. This chest is mandatory. On the gloves, Assassin's Mitts. Stacked with Lem runes. Nice poison damage. Some good attack speed. But mainly for the crit rate, crit damage. On the belt, we went with Commander Sash, filled it with Lem runes, mainly for the 10% crit rate, 28% crit damage. Your dots will crit. It will crit. On your ring, we went with Raz Band. We're stacking elemental damage. Alright, so this is vital for that. We did try it with the Demon Eye Ring initially, but this yielded more damage. Honestly, they're both in the same. It does not matter which one you use. But we opted to stay with Raz Band from further testing. Likewise, we went with Bottle of Sake again. We're stacking crit and crit damage to help the dots tick like crazy. But you can also go with Maggot Eye Elixir, and it'll be just as good. The elemental damage on it is huge. Really up to you. For the boots, we went with the Assassin Shadow Boots. Again, it has all Lem runes, poison damage, crit rate, 10% crit rate, 28% crit damage. This is vital. For your relics, these are the relics we chose. I want to say the mandatory relics, I would say, is Templar and Guardian Angel to protect you, as well as homing shots to make your Poison Ivy, pretty much home in on the target. You don't have to aim it. But these are the relics we went with. You could tweak this how you want to better fine tune your build. I wouldn't worry too much about attack speed on this build. So you can remove some of the attack speed stuff for more survivability and poison procs abilities if you want. But this does the job. Now, I saved this till the very end of the season for a reason. It was requested by me by several members and friends who is being competitive and pushing the leaderboards, and also in a way news to me because season 7, 8, and 9 and 10, the melee mercenary was not as good. And obviously after the interview and feedback we gave to the devs, they definitely did something about it. So I hope they listen to this feedback after I go over this and make the ranger just as good. But it's going to take more than just tuning, and I'll get into that after. So for your pet, you definitely want to use the melee mercenary, and this could be applied to all of the other classes and builds I've released. If you're pushing high wormholes, you want to put Judge, the highest taunt possible on the weapon. This taunts all the targets, literally mimicking the Lancer. It's a mini Lancer with you, pulling all of the mobs inside the wormhole into one clump, allowing you to delete them, cutting your time by like 60% in a wormhole. This is meta across the board, and I hope they make the Ranger next season meta as well with the changes I'm going to recommend later. For the helm, you want Sky Crusader helm for the survivability and toughness on the Mercenary. I will post this rune word, how to make it as well. It does not matter the elements. This is just for your pet. What matters is the taunt level. For your chest, as usual, Shroud of Elements, Elemental Break 20. I do hope they bring back Enigmatic or they buff Mystify next season, because right now it's not competing with it. For the shield, you go with Shelter on your follower, mainly because of the Mending Aura, which heals you, gives you huge survivability, as well as give your Mercenary massive survivability. He pretty much never dies. Before we move on to talents, my recommendation to Worksy and Elias, we need to create a weapon, a ranged weapon. Call it the hunting horn, whatever you want to call it. That name to me is inspired by Monster Hunter World. Nothing wrong with that. But, the mercenary ranged needs like a hunting horn bow with a taunt ability, or like a taunting horn. So that way it can also be as viable just like the melee. So give any of the bows the ability to have taunt on it, and it will make the ranger viable. That is the major thing that needs to be added in order for the ranger to compete with the melee mercenary in season 12. If not, nobody is going to use the ranger anymore. In addition to that, you need to buff the range mercenary as well. They need a lot more toughness compared to the melee. You guys did a phenomenal job with the melee mercenary. He actually stays alive now. You put the correct items on him. He never dies, rarely dies. Definitely a breath of fresh air. But when it comes to the ranger, compared to the melee, not even worth it anymore. And now that people is gonna, by the time they watch this video and they realize this as well, and it'll be out there in the public, which is the way it should be. Nobody's ever going to use the ranger. So you'll always use the melee during the season to level up and max out his gear with XP. Sal runes, with the bucket, with the forgot the name of the chest, with the chest. I don't have one on here, but I'll do a guide for it, guys. But and then you go with Swami per Kelly shield, and then the Holy Warrior's Phase Blade for the additional XP, and you stack everything with Sal runes, and that's what you do for farming XP. And then when you go into the wormhole, you just swap the gear out for this, and you're pushing wormhole. There'll never be a reason to use the ranger in season 12. So please don't kill the ranger in season 12. So that's what I recommend. Buff the ranger, make him tougher, and give him a hunting horn bow or ability that taunts everything as well to make it just as viable as the melee. All right, moving on to hero levels. 50 in Ancient Power, 50 in Gut Ripper, and I put 50 in attack speed, 50 in absolute strength. I'll be 100% honest, I wasn't even going for breakpoints much. So, because it's a poison dot build, you can take the 50 out of the attack speed and just put it into strength and just have your poison scale off of the strength and deal more damage. Alright, but if you are close to a breakpoint while you're leveling, it is always good to reach the breakpoint. Your auto attacks deal a lot of damage. So, play around with that as you're leveling. For your Mercenary, the melee Mercenary, you put 1 point in attack power, 1 point in carnage, 1 point in battle carnage, charge, 1 point in double strike, and 1 point in swiftness. And then one last point in armor break to get the additional debuff. Then on defensive abilities, you put 1 point in taunt, you put 30 points in armor to give him survivability, 1 in countermeasure, 30 in HP boost, 30 in symbiosis, to transfer the damage to the mercenary that you take, giving you massive survivability, 1 in shielding, and 1 in replenish. You don't have to put a point in here at all. Now for your talents, you put 20 points in Envenom. This is your #1 damaging ability. The Huntress multiplies all poison damage she inflicts, also refreshing every stack's timer. Pretty much with 50% CDR, your poison stacks never drops on the target, and it's map wide. The mob does not have to be on the screen. As long as you're holding this button down, you'll always be refreshing every 4 seconds, infinitely staying on there. And each time you refresh it, the damage that it dealt is multiplied by 50%, which is crazy. And it keeps stacking. Every 4 seconds, it keeps multiplying. It keeps multiplying. It never stops infinitely. We also put 20 points in Brunhild's. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, this is 50% damage. This stacks up to 5 times when you kill a target. So that's 50% damage and movement speed. So it's very important. Then you have to put 20 points in Chosen of the Slain. At 41% health, the mobs have a chance to be executed and killed instantly. This is massive to cut down on clear times in any mob in general. And then you want to put the other 20 points in Poison Knives, because you want to stack poison and poison debuffs as much as possible on the target, and the higher your poison debuffs and the damage that it deals, the higher it is multiplied by Envenom. And then we put the rest of the points in Jungle Camouflage. I had it in Spearnage, but survivability is crucial for the Amazon, so you want to put it into this. And that is it. I reached out to Wooxie, again, like I said, about the interaction with Odin Battle Maiden in Spearnage because of this talent. Master Poisoner. The Huntress attacks and abilities have a chance to poison enemies. It does not work off of Battle Maiden and does not work off of Spearnage. So, but we do run with Spearnage because it's a nice quality of life to have. It's a nice damage filler. But like I said, you can take the points out away from this if you want, and then put it. You can put it into leap if you want, or even put it into movement speed. It really doesn't matter. It's gonna make no damage difference whatsoever if you take a point from this. Definitely keep a point in Tropical Thunder though. That's free damage proc, even though you're not lightning. It's free damage, and it will poison the targets when the circle drops on there. That radius there, everything gets poisoned in it. So keep that in there. Anyways, that's it for the talents. I know this took longer than usual, but it was vital to explain to you guys how powerful the Amazon is. And I will leave you with a couple of clips at the end of the video here showing how fast we kill some bosses. How, at the chunks, we were able to clear Wormhole 1000, Wormhole 1500, and Wormhole 2000. I could have pushed even further and done 2500 or so, but I didn't want to waste too much time because I have one more class to test, which was the Lancer. So we needed to get this out of the way. But I'll leave you with those clips so you can see them quickly and see how insane Amazon is. And that is all done at hero level 200. She's able to clear Wormhole 1000, 1500, and 2000 at hero level 200. So all you guys out there pushing with Lightning, you know, Lightning is very strong, very viable. You know, and I guess the build is already known by everybody. So I always like to be different and do something different. I hope you guys try out the Poison Amazon. She is absolutely insane. To me, one of the strongest characters in Season 11 just because of the infinite scaling on Envenom. And nothing can touch her. Nothing. The longer the fight lasts, the more health the boss has, the more damage she's going to deal over any class. Really an amazing class to play. Have fun with it, guys. This is the part of the video where we do a build variant. I'm going to go quick. Aztec necklace, you can use this with the Aztec crown as well as the Aztec charm to get the 3-piece bonus. It's not meta, but it's a good starter. You guys can definitely use that. You can also use Damien Soulstone. I'll show you a clear here after I go over the build variants. Another Wormhole 500 clear with this setup. And Damien's Legacy gives you Dark Splash. It deals 0 damage, but the way the build synergizes with Poison Ivy and everything that's happening, it's a massive CC and AoE going around on the targets, giving you massive, you know, damage mitigation on the map. So you see the Blood Nova splashes everywhere. Pretty amazing. And then coupled with the Arcane Fury, it synergizes really well. But you can use any poison deck really to your advantage. I tried them all, they're decent. Helms as well. Depth Visage, Wormwood. You can use a Light Forge with poison as well. If you're gonna go with the Death, with the Dark Splash, which is part of the other meta build, we were running with this essentially, so you guys can see, which was initially, just so you guys understand, initially this was the meta build right here, this setup, 100%. I recorded like multiple footages doing this until we finally crunched the numbers and we settled on the other variants. But this was the other meta build. This is second best in slot if you ask me. So you can use this as well as a variant. You can use Torch of Shadows. Obviously, it's meta. Hello, it's me, Steve. Havoc and Rainbow, also good. The bows, I'll be honest, we tried Serpent Tooth with the Mirage Shield. It was decent. Shadow Fury was decent. And that was pretty much it. You know, it's easy to get a Poison Ivy. I'd use it for sure. For the Helm, initially, Hellfire Cuirass was meta for the 25% crit rate on the chest. But eventually, the All Talents or Devil's Cocoon surpassed it. But Dark Shroud, we did try Shroud of Elements on the chest and on the pet, etc. It wasn't more damage. But, you know, if you happen to have one before anything else, yeah, use it. Especially, you know, if it has poison damage, of course. Shields, we tried all the variables. We tried even Mirage with the, you know, Serpent's Tooth. It was decent, you know, not enough damage. But you can use any of these shields if you're going to go with the one-handed shield variant for poison. Gloves, we tried Breach, Viper Hands, all decent choices. Assassin Belt also has some nice poison on it. Monkey Skin and Belt of Skulls. Demon Eye Ring, all these rings are pretty viable when you're starting out. Maggot Eye Elixir, definitely second place, you know, best in slot. Arguably could even be first place, best in slot. And then Boots, you know, Wasteland of Greaves for the poison damage. So these are all the build variants. I'm going to leave you now with some playthrough. I'm going to clip the video, but you'll see a 500 Wormhole clear. Pay attention to the Dark Splashes going around from the Damien's Cage, Damien's Legacy, the Dark Splash. So you'll see that as we're attacked. You can even see it here now. See all the circles everywhere? And then you see Arcane Fury proccing as well. So you'll see that all throughout the map. And what this does is it stuns the targets and CCs them, you know, and gives you huge mitigation as well. Look at that Mercenary melee, 3.4 million health. Anyways, guys, roll deep. Enjoy the footage. Alright, guys, we're getting into the end of the video here. This one here is a Wormhole 500 with the Damien's Legacy set bonus variant. And you can see the Dark Splash, which is the red circles around the map, along with Arcane Fury. We were able to clear it just fine. Good time as well. The reason why I wanted to showcase this fight is, if you encounter this fight later on in the Wormhole, just reset if you want. You know, if you're doing like Wormhole 1000 plus. The reason is he dies very fast, from 100 to like 50%. The moment he splits, I think there's a bug with the poison and the venom with this boss where the ticks doesn't work anymore. I mean, he'll still die, you know, relatively quick, I guess, in a decent time. But it's, you know, the chunks just reset or doesn't, you know, pick up again. There's something going on there when the Eye of Satan splits. So, in my opinion, when you're pushing too high, just reset. Or if you want to finish it, it's going to take you extra long. The damage won't keep ticking like crazy. This right here is another clear of 500. Again, with the build variant with the Damien Soulstone. With the Damien's Legacy, I'm sorry. With the Dark Splash going around. And this is Fuxogen. Pay attention to his health pool on the chunks. It's like every second there's a chunk. It just keeps chunking away at the mobs, at the boss's health with Venom. And obviously, you know, the longer it's up there, the more damage it deals. It keeps multiplying. 6 billion, 5 billion, 4 billion, 3 billion, 2, 1. This one was slightly slow, but you'll see the other bosses. This one here is the big 1500 Wormhole at hero level 200 clear. Ridiculous. And this is still with the old variant. This is not actually with the like min, max, and meta. But as you can see, the Damien's Legacy, it's extremely strong as well. And it gives you huge survivability while you're trying to, you know, clear the map. So they're both just as good. So if you can get a hold of Damien's Soulstone and Damien's Cage, you know, run with it. If you can't get a Torch of Shadows or a Pendant of Eternity, it's just as good. As you can see, here's the proof. Now watch Gabriel's health.
Yeah.
I'm streaming it, but hopefully I don't die here. Yes, let me focus. Look at his health. Look at his health. He's dead. See that?
Jesus.
Alright, this one is the final clip. This is a 2000 Wormhole at hero level 200. As my boy Silver would say, who'd have thunk it that it was possible? 2000? Hero level 200? I'll let the community battle it out in Discord on which class is the strongest season 11. I'm too busy testing for you guys and putting other builds and content together. I'll let you guys battle it out. At the end, it's whatever class you like, whatever class you enjoy the most, honestly. If I have time in the future, I'll do a summary recap on the classes. I know everybody's been asking for that. But, you know, for the most part, all the classes are pretty well balanced. They play very different from each other. They're really fun. Really fun. There will be a lot of tips and tricks in the future on what to do for a season, how to start out the season, how to prepare and prep for the season, and how to play for the end game, the long game. Anyways, pay attention to Annie's health pool. Look at the chunks. It goes down like 4 billions, then 6 billions, then 10 billions. That's ridiculous. From 69 to 55, is that what it was? 49, 42, 26, 10. It's just crazy. There it is, guys. World deep, man. Thank you very much, guys. Words cannot express how humble and how grateful I am for all of your support. I mean, over the last 3 weeks alone, we've had over 400 subscribers. So if you haven't done so, you still have a chance. Thank you very much, guys, for everything. Thank you for your comments, your like, and smash that subscribe button. Please check me out on Twitch. Hit that follow button there. We'll be over there rolling deep, grinding out on some World of Warcraft. Okay, check us out. If you guys would like to raid with us, play with us, invitations are open. Hit us up. Woo!